Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Marshall, and I am the Vice Chair of the Louisa County Chamber of Commerce. I'm brand new to the team and excited to be here with you all tonight, as well as with my fellow Chamber Board members. Again, thank you all for being here with us. I know it's wet and rainy. It's the first day of fall. We all want to go out, have our pumpkin spice lattes, eat our chili, but I'm glad you all are here with us tonight for this important event. We are very pleased to be able to welcome not only our Louisa Chamber of Commerce members, but those of you who are not yet members and hopefully will be soon. We're also excited to welcome our candidates who are seeking re-election or election this November to represent us as Louisa County residents. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to the Chamber, as well as our Executive Director, Tracy, who has worked so hard to put this event together. We want to also recognize the Louisa Arts Center for hosting us here in this beautiful space tonight, the Louisa Reentry Council for being our sponsor, and then to Rachel Keller, the WRIC Channel 8 anchor, who will be facilitating tonight's event. Today marks less than 6 weeks from Election Day. However, voting is already underway. We are excited to be able to provide this opportunity for you all to learn what your potential or current candidates and representatives would like to focus on when it comes to business here in Louisa County. Before we get started, I'm going to turn the mic over to Karen Welch, Executive Director of the Louisa Arts Center. Thank you.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Louisa Arts Center. I'm Karen Welch, the Executive Director, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into our beautiful facilities. I do recognize quite a few faces, so I'm not going to take too long. You're not here to hear me talk, but I just wanted to say, if you're outside and in the foyer, please grab yourself one of our brochures that says all the things that we're doing, all our events for the season. And we have coming up our annual fall fundraiser. And there are some invites out in the foyer. This is our fall fundraiser where we have a wonderful band. The Jersey Tenors will be playing from New York. They're coming down to play on the stage. We have live and silent auctions. We have a beautiful cocktail reception. So it's an opportunity to get dressed up a little bit as well. And that's on the 2nd of October. So if you haven't heard about it, please grab one of these invites. We'd love to see you there. So I hope you have a good evening. It's so great for me to be able to open up this facility so that we have a lot of different events going on, and I'm very, very happy to support the Chamber in this. And now I'd just like to introduce the host sponsor, Lisa Rengers.
Thank you. You're going to have to forgive me. I'm nervous. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Lisa Rengers with the Louisa Reentry Council. And we work with folks coming home to Louisa out of incarceration. And taxpayers here in Louisa spend $2.8 million a year to house people just at Central Virginia Regional Jail. Governor McDonald asked back in 2012 that the localities in the state step forward and try and help people coming out of incarceration to try and offset the cost of the criminal justice system. Louisa was one of the few localities to step up. And I think one of the reasons that we've been so successful, 70% of my people are working, is because the businesses here in Louisa believe in being employers of second chance. So I'm very proud today to sponsor this Chamber of Commerce event because of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to the Reentry Council for what you all do to help not only the citizens of Louisa and those coming to Louisa, but also our local businesses who are always looking for employees. So thank you. Y'all do great work. So tonight we're going to go over what this event is all about, and we'll go over the norms for this event as well. As many of us know, Louisa County was formed in the 1700s, and since its formation has been centered squarely in the path of travelers, whether that's Jack Jewett traveling to Monticello to warn then Governor Thomas Jefferson of the approaching British Army, or now present-day commuters traveling to jobs in the county or to Charlottesville, Fredericksburg, or Richmond. The county is home to a diverse and growing economy, underscored by strong manufacturing, agricultural, and service sectors. Tonight's forum will focus on the current status of businesses in Louisa County and how our current candidates plan to make an impact. With us, we have Board of Supervisor candidates. We have, starting from your right to left, Rachel Jones, who is running for the Green Springs District. We have William Woody, who is running for the Patrick Henry District. We have Bob Babiock, who is incumbent and running for the Green Springs District. Fitzgerald Barnes, who is the incumbent and running for the Patrick Henry District. Dwayne Adams, incumbent and running for the Mineral District. And Tommy Barlow, incumbent and running for the Mountain Run District. Thank you, Mountain Road District. Thank you all for taking time to be here tonight. The first portion of tonight's forum will include our facilitator, Channel 8 anchor Rachel Keller, asking our candidates questions that they were provided ahead of time. Each candidate will be asked 3 questions, and each response may be up to 3 minutes in length. There will be no back and forth debate between the candidates, and candidates are reminded to stay on the topic of Louisa County business. Once we have completed the Q&A portion of the event, we'll have the candidates retire out to the lobby so that our attendees may have the opportunity to meet them one-on-one and ask any individual questions you may have for the candidates. Thank you again to our candidates, our host, sponsor, facilitator, and attendees. I am now going to turn the program over to Channel 8 anchor Rachel Keller. Rachel joined WRIC Channel 8 as a weekend morning anchor and reporter in May of 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. Before joining the Richmond team, she wasn't here in Virginia. She moved from Texas and covered stories such as Tropical Storm Imelda and the TPC group plant explosion in Texas. Though tonight's event may not make national news like a hurricane or explosion, it is certainly important to those attending and doing business here in Louisa County. We appreciate you all being here, and now I'm going to turn it over to Rachel. Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Sarah. All right, so for those who don't know who I am, my name is Rachel Keller. If you've watched Good Morning Richmond on weekend mornings, you've seen me before. I see some people that have that are nodding their heads. If not, it is very nice to meet all of you. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the candidates for being here tonight. I can say I've covered stories in Louisa before. A few months ago, huge storm came through the county and ripped off someone's barn. So that's the last time I was here. So let's start off with our first question. This is going to be for the candidates running in the Green Springs District. That is Bob and Rachel. What is the magic number of rooftops needed at Zion Crossroads to get a higher end grocery store in the area? We'll start with Bob.
Magic number. Individual companies have their own individual statistics that they use to evaluate whether they want to be there or not. And they take a lot of things into consideration, traffic counts, competition, the availability for access, the other businesses that are around them. that will attract other people. And the overall impact is looking at what their profit objectives are, because they have and want to know what their ability to meet those objectives. For example, if somebody wanted to, or a company wanted to make at least 400,000 sales a day, that would be an example of a goal that they would have. And whether they could ascertain that is whether they would be able to then choose that location or not. So it's based on individual data that these companies have done over and over and over again. They have a real solid track record on it. So again, that's how they do it.
And Rachel?
Would you like us to use our microphone? Okay. We forget about these things. So what I would like to say is, like anyone else in the Green Springs district, I would love a high-end grocery store up there. We have Walmart, and before Walmart, we were a food desert. So I have to say, having Walmart is a nice asset, but having a high-end grocery store would be even better. But what will it really take to have that high-end grocery store? Some of what Mr. Bobbiak just said is true. So let me give you some numbers that I have researched and I have spoken to county officials on. One of the numbers is averagely between 500,000 and 600,000 weekly sales a grocery store is going to want. They are going to have to compete with Walmart, and that is what their bottom line is. When you look at that number, you want to consider, well, how many homes would that add? How many more rooftops would we have to meet those sales? Because we're not meeting those sales right now. Averagely, you would probably have to put 20,000 more homes in the Green Springs district within a 10-mile radius. When you look at that and you think, well, how many rooftops do we have in all of Louisa County? We have approximately a little under 15,000 rooftops, a population of 38,000. Zion's Crossroads is a crossroads. On our traffic diamond, we have about 5,000 roads, 5,000 cars that pass through our traffic diamond. If you were to add additional rooftops up to 20,000 to get that number for a grocery store, you're going to have about 8,000 cars on our diamonds. Now, I've spoken with VDOT, and VDOT is not adding the numbers up. VDOT will not be keeping up with us with our road constructions. We can build out and we can build up, but VDOT will not be improving our roads beyond safety. The money is just not there. I will do everything I can to bring a grocery store here and look outside of the box without having to add the cost of increase of rooftops and population in a 10-mile radius for one grocery store. That will cause massive gridlock. And I live 3 miles from Zion's Crossroads, and when you add that many cars, how long would it really take you to get to that one grocery store?
All right, thank you so much. Our next question is for William. Do you think our Main Street businesses are healthy and successful? If not, what would you do to change that?
Can you guys hear me? Well, first off, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for inviting us and giving us the forum and opportunity to speak to you all. And thank you all for coming out and taking a vested interest in not only our county, our community, but making Louisa a better place to live for all of us. And I think at the end of the day, that's our goal, is to make Louisa better moving forward. To be honest, ma'am, no, I don't think that the businesses on Main Street are healthy. And it's primarily due to government policy. We have inflation running rapid that cause supplies to cost more. We have enhanced unemployment, which is causing a labor shortage. And ultimately, my opponent supported to keep local businesses closed during last year, which unfortunately actually caused people to lose their jobs, and in some cases, businesses to be closed permanently. And so no, Main Street businesses are not healthy. What we can do is what I've said since I first started running is we need to keep regulation at a minimum. There's no reason that we can't have every time a business wants to come to this county, needs help from this county, that we should have a meeting about a meeting to decide if we're going to have a meeting, to decide if that meeting's okay to have. Bureaucracy and red tape is strangling us. if we show support to not only our local businesses, which are the backbone of our community, and patronize them and show the support, that's the way that we can reestablish and make sure that our local business owners are a viable option and can stay in business and stay here to support us.
All right, thank you so much. Our next question is for Dwayne and Tommy. What is more important for Louisa County right now? Attracting new businesses or supporting existing businesses, and why? We'll start with Dwayne.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Before I answer, I do want to thank the Chamber, the Arts Center, Lisa for the Reentry Council. You all do great work. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. You don't ignore our existing business at the expense of new business or vice versa. You work in coordination to create an environment where our existing business can grow, can flourish, can expand, can find a workforce. Part of that workforce comes from the Reentry Council. They do a great job. I think 70% of her clients are actually employed, and most of them employed in Louisa County. The other way that you can help both our existing businesses and our ability to attract new businesses is through the programs that we offer at the high school. Our CTE program, which I think Mr. Bendrick is here, the director of the CTE program. I see that right now that the carpentry and electrical classes at the CTE program are redoing a building at Walton Park. And that hands-on experience where we prepare our students either the ability to go to college, prepare them to enter the workforce, prepare them to enter the military, but we give them those options. But since we're talking specifically about economic development and our local businesses, I think that's a real key. It's also key when we look to expand business coming into the county. And over the last 4 years, there's been quite a number of businesses that have come into the county, are looking to come into the county, that have expanded. Where you have Amazon has now said that they're going to go to Ferncliff. Part of that reason is the infrastructure that we have with 64. I think the county's made a huge commitment in the ability to help our current businesses, and see we have people calling in right now wanting to locate into the county, to bring existing business, to increase existing business or bring new business, and that is the $87 million project where we're going to bring fiber to every household and every business in the county. That expands our opportunity to attract business. But I don't think we pay more attention to one than the other. Certainly the existing business is the backbone of the county, but future businesses are the growth and how we can keep. Right now, 62% of everybody employed in this county travels outside of Louisa to go to work. Let's give them the opportunity to stay here if they want to stay here with good paying jobs. And the way we do that is provide a climate where we attract businesses. That the last business that we brought to the county, the average pay is $58,000. That will keep people to stay here and work in that county. So I think both are extraordinarily important.
Thank you. And Tommy?
I would have to agree with Mr. Adams. First off, both are equally important. The problem that everybody in Louisa is having now, including myself, is finding people to work. And we're doing everything we can to attract businesses to the county, but that's becoming hard because those businesses have to have people to employ. And right now, every business you can go down right through the middle of town or out on the outskirts, and there's not a business going that doesn't have trying to hire people to employ. I mean, I have continuously tried to hire people for the last couple of years, and you just cannot get people even interested. So I think the county has done an awful lot to try and attract big business, whereas that would bring these high-paying jobs and employ a lot of people. But we're also trying to keep in mind that the existing businesses that we have here are the true backbone of Louisa County. And I would say the biggest problem that I see right now is all of the programs that are incentivizing and enabling people not to work. When these programs start to be cut out, then you're going to see people looking for jobs, and maybe small businesses like myself that I've been running for 21 years can find somebody to actually go out and work. So I would say the biggest problem that we have in this country right now is the enabling and incentivized factors that are allowing people to stay at home and not have to work.
Thank you so much. Our next question is for Fitzgerald and Bob. And we'll start with Fitzgerald. If you received a $1 million grant to use for the county in any way, what would you do with it and why?
First of all, thank you. I really don't need this thing. I sit here and I see everybody with their notes to take home tests. I think either Dwayne and I are smarter than everybody, or we were stupid than everybody, because we don't have anything to look at. But I'm just going to be briefly, and I tell anybody, if I had $1 million right now the county could use, I would create a business incubator. And a lot of localities start to do that. You go in and you set up a situation where, for example, we would go to Virginia or Virginia Tech and recruit bright engineering students or people of that nature, or somebody trying to start a small business, and you put them where they have lower rent, where they got grant opportunities, and let those incubators provide jobs. If you get one small business, they end up hiring 25 people. Shaw's have done this, and they got companies now that have hired as many as 200 people with the small incubators. I would like to see us take that $1 million and have an incubator here in Louisa. We've talked about some of that, but with the new vocational center we're looking at building, I hope we can get into some business incubation.
Thank you very much. And Bob?
I'll use the mic this time. The number one priority for us has been, and only recently have we been able to have a plan to accomplish it, and that is getting broadband internet service to every home in Louisa County. So we have a plan, yes, but if I was given $1 million grant, I think I would apply that to speed up that process, because people have been waiting too long. Both people and businesses have been waiting too long. So why not speed that process up so we would be able to serve more people faster?
Thank you so much. All right, and our next question is for Dwayne and William. Okay, if you could change one thing in the county's current zoning code, what would it be and why? Dwayne?
We've just recently completed the first stage of a multi-year comprehensive plan review. And one of the things that we looked at that I thought was very important, and Mr. Barlow and I talk about this all the time, I don't mind being on the short end of a vote. I've been on my share of them. And I was on the short end of this vote. But that would be to increase the minimum lot size in the county. And right now we have a little over 3,000 lots zoned for residential development that haven't been developed. So that certainly, in my opinion, would not impact the ability for housing in the county. But you always have to balance development and residential growth. And residential growth is a money loser for the county government. And if it's a money loser for the county government, it's a money loser for you, because the county government gets its tax money from you. I'm very fond of saying there's no such thing as government funded. It's all taxpayer funded. So we have to be very careful. You know, I think 3 of us have mentioned the fiber project, which is an extraordinarily good thing for the county. But let me tell you, the flip side of that is We have one of the best school systems in our region. We're ahead of Charlottesville, Albemarle, Spotsylvania, Orange, Madison, Fluvanna, all of our neighbors. So we have a very good school system. We have a low tax rate, and then we're going to run fiber to every house in this county. What do you think that's going to do for the population in this county? It has the potential to explode the population in this county. We don't have the infrastructure to explode the population in this county. But if the population explodes, then you're going to have a bigger drain on our school system. You're going to have a bigger drain on our law and fire and EMS. So you're also going to then have to start making determinations when we rezone land. Are we going to keep it agriculture and rural, which the number one thought process in a comprehensive plan review is to maintain the rural character of the county. We only have so much land. As my grandfather said, they're not making any more of it. So we either keep it rural, we zone it residential, or that's where we put our economic development. And I think we need to be very, very careful as we weigh those things. I know this is a business forum and it's the chamber's putting it on, but unregulated or unbridled, it's regulated, but unbridled residential development in this county, in my opinion, would be a very bad thing. I have no desire to see us look like Chesterfield County or Fairfax County or even parts of Spotsylvania County. So we have to be very careful. So if I could, and we've addressed that, and it's obvious I'm going to get reelected because I don't have an opponent, I guess. I think my wife is running a write-in campaign to try to get somebody else. But one of the things I would like to see the board look at over the next year or two is to revisit that issue of minimum lot size in the county.
Thank you. And William?
And thank you for your question, ma'am. For me, it's simple. We have to increase the restriction on solar on our agriculturally zoned land. We need more buffers. Currently, I believe the buffer is 150 yards. We need to concentrate on soil erosion. We need to consider our downstream landowners. Right now, our downstream landowners are not protected. We have an environmental disaster at the Belcher project that's not being taken into consideration. It's not being taken into consideration fast enough or seriously. I've called for a one-year moratorium from the board to please put measures in place to protect our citizens. Every citizen in Louisa County is important, and we need this one-year moratorium so we can get a submitted guideline of what we need to do to prevent anything like Belcher from ever happening again.
Thank you for your answer. And our next question will be directed at Fitzgerald and Rachel. What type or types of businesses should Louisa County focus on attracting and why?
Hello? Okay. I'm going to respect the wishes of the chamber, but it's hard for me not to get into a debate when I'm hearing some of these miscues. But anyhow, let's move forward. The kind of business that we need, in my opinion, we need to start attracting data centers. We've done a good job with distribution centers, going after those kind of distribution centers, but a large part of our workforce drive to Richmond, drive to Fredericksburg, and they're working in these jobs. They're working at Capital One, they're working at a lot of these manufacturers, State Farm and Charlottesville. They're already doing these jobs. If we can bring data centers here, our workforce can stay here and start doing those jobs here and change the game a little bit as far as travel. But we've not done a very good job going after data centers. So we were involved with one a while back at Zion's Crossroads. We lost out on that, but we really do need to start changing the wheel a little bit because, as Mr. Barlow said, labor is a problem right now. And no doubt about it, not just in Louisa. Labor is a problem on a statewide scale. But if we can go after data centers, we already got the labor force that can already take care of those. So that's why I think personally we need to go after data centers.
Okay, thank you. And Rachel?
Thank you. I have to agree with Mr. Barnes. We have 50% of our workforce leaving our county every day and leaving us to be a bedroom community. We need to bring in new industries into this County. What we really need to do is we need to move forward with what we are strongest with and what we are producing in our younger generation. Our CTE program has some phenomenal course programs going on, one of them being our cybersecurity program. I believe that we need to bring technology businesses into this county. As he was talking about data centers and data storage programming, we need to bring those in and we need to focus on that. And we need to focus on the fact that we have a workforce that's getting ready to come out and be workers and in the community and graduate, and they are going to be trained. And we need to move forward and remember that we have to not let our kids and our children leave. We have to have them come back and have them work in our communities, and we have to have the jobs here. And I think technology sector jobs is the future, because there's jobs that we don't even know exist today in the technology sector. In 10 years, they will be created and they will be there, and we have to prepare our children and be on the ready to have them ready for those next jobs and have those jobs here in Louisa County.
Thank you. We want to focus now on small businesses, so we'll send it over to Tommy for this next question. What are your top 3 priorities for small businesses?
I'm going to contradict Mr. Adams just a little bit, and that is, and ever since I've been on the board, I think less regulation is really what gives small businesses a chance to get established and go. And then with all of this lack of being able to find people to employ, if we've done some tax incentives offered it to large companies and stuff, but also offer that to the small businesses who hire, as they hire people, whether it be 10 or 20 or whatever, that there be some tax incentives so that when you do hire people, and it is based on that employs people in Louisa County, it helps our small business, and those are the kind of things that I think should be done. But I think in this country, we are definitely over-regulated, which creates more work for the county staff, and anything that you can do that reduces that in a sensible manner is what needs to be done.
Thank you very much. And now our closing question. This is going to be for everyone. So what we'll do here, we'll go from left to right, and everyone has up to 3 minutes. What is the single most important thing the Commonwealth and Louisa County can do to help local businesses thrive? And how do you plan to make an impact? And since we were talking about small businesses already with Tommy, we'll start with you and go left to right.
Okay, good. This is probably the only one that I really felt like I had an answer for. And that is, people need to be aware of the people that they're voting for. And when you're voting for people that are readily handing out your tax hard-earned dollars to enable and incentivize people to stay at home and not work, then I think that is creating a huge problem with what we've got in the employee sector. Once these government handouts are slowed down, people are going to get out and start looking for a job. And I think that is key to it. The handouts enable people to not get out and work. And so they sit at home, and our small businesses can't find people to work. So I think that is probably the biggest single thing that taxpayers can do going forward, is to find out what their politicians stand for, and when will these programs cut back that enable people not to work.
Thank you very much. And Dwayne?
Well, I think they kind of go hand in hand on a state level as well as a local level. I'm a small government guy. Regulation, unnecessary regulation burdens business and burdens business' ability to expand, burdens businesses' ability to hire, to make a profit. Business is in the business to make a profit. So I think on a state level, that's extremely important. On a local level, in the last 4 years, the current board has cut regulations on business by almost 40%. And I think that's a good thing. I think that has helped business expand and grow here in the county. Now, some regulation is good. Obviously, safety and employee safety and environmental safety is important. But I don't think we need to overregulate. We just recently, it impacted a small percentage of the business in this county, but we just exempted logging and timber operations from personal property tax, business tax, machinery tax. And that's important. You know, when we talk about business in the county, and I know the chamber has some ag businesses that are members, the largest industry in Louisa County, the largest generator in Louisa County is ag and forestry, which generates to our county over $125 million in economic activity. So when we look at what the local government can do, number one, we need to keep taxes as low as possible. We need to let you as the taxpayer keep as much money in your pocket, but also let business keep money so that it can reinvest. Number one, so it can turn a profit. Number two, so it can reinvest in the business to grow and expand, which in turn will hire additional people. But something very specific that I would like to see the county get more active in, the chamber get more active in, the Lake Anna Business Partnership get more active in, is to promote the county. We're located in really a central area between Richmond and Charlottesville and Fredericksburg and 90 miles south of D.C. And we have a lot of things here that we can market. Lake Anna, for one, the wineries, the breweries, the restaurants, Main Street of Louisa, Main Street of Mineral, where we can bring golf courses, where we can bring people in, and the tourism dollars are huge to our county now, but I think they can grow. And the great thing about tourism dollars is those folks come here, they spend their money, they pay taxes, and then they leave. We don't have to have them on the roads all the time. They don't put children in school. They don't necessarily increase law enforcement responsibility and first responder responsibility. And I think we can do a much better job at that, and I think that helps all of our business across the board.
It's always tough when you come behind two people that been on the board a long time. It's always tough. But a lot of y'all that know me know I'm an old Carolina boy, and there's a gospel song that the folks are sing go, if you can't help me, then stop me, get on out my way. And that's pretty much the way I feel about government. If you get out the way and let business people and let people do their jobs, it's a lot easier. Now, one thing that I can't agree on that I really think that we've always been a pet peeve of mine is two taxes, the food tax and gas tax. Because the food tax affect the poor man and poor woman who are trying to put food on the table. The gas tax prevent them from going to work so they can put food on the table. And I think some of those regulations need to be really looked upon. And I know we all want these nice roads and you got to be paid for some kind of way. I understand all of that. But I think less, and I agree with Dwayne, I think less is better. Less regulations. For example, a lot of people look at the school budget. Well, a lot of things we are mandated from the state to do. They're out of our hands. Special ed law, the things we have to do with special ed, we have very little control on funding those programs. They are state mandated. So we need some help from Richmond and Washington because some of those programs are federally mandated. So we have to get some help with some of those, with the class size ratios and things like that. So more help from them in reducing those regulations can go a long way.
I'd like to get a little bit of a different track on that because, you know, I'm always trying to be a can-do guy, and there always are obstacles, and there's always bridges too far to cross. But if you look at it that way, you'll never get anywhere. You'll just be spinning wheels. And I'm very proud that our county, from top down, has been pro-business and inviting all kinds of business to come here. And that is a big plus for our residents because that's a direct impact and benefit to them. But, you know, our job is to remove obstacles. If we can remove obstacles for those businesses, I'll give you 2 examples. We just got blessed in Zion Crossroads with for a pretty powerful restaurant that was in Charlottesville for 14 years, and Rhett's River Grill. They just got there, and so did Starbucks. Hasn't opened yet, but Starbucks got there. They came there not because of the population that is existing now in Zion Crossroads. They came there because there's 10,000 more people in Lake Monticello. There's another 4,000 in nearby Glenmore and Keswick. Those help make Walmart distribution and and Lowe's, they sell more, they have more sales than their counterparts in Short Pond. So consider that. So that volume of business, that's why those 2 companies came there, because they see the potential for benefiting not just our residents, but anybody in the surrounding area. Because those tax dollars coming from other counties help us. That's sales tax coming to us versus going to other counties or other places, other cities. We in Zion Crossroads are primarily a bedroom community of Charlottesville because we don't have the amenities that most places have. We don't have a pharmacy. We don't have a bank. We don't have a quality grocery store for sure, but there's a number of other things that we don't have that we'd like to have. You know, my wife's always saying, where's the dry cleaner? I mean, come on. So we can attract those businesses because they'll come when they see that help that the county is providing. One help that we just provided during COVID, 28 businesses received over $214,000 when they were hurting because of COVID, when they had to close down. But we came to their aid because that's what we do. We are there to help with the infrastructure, the roads, the safety and security, and the power, and all those aspects of a solid infrastructure that makes them successful. So our main thing is to keep promoting that, to continue to promote the welfare and the well-being of our residents.
Thank you.
And thank you again, ma'am, for being here with us tonight. We appreciate your time, and thank you for what you do as being an impartial reporter of the news, and again, taking time out of your evening to be here with us tonight. We appreciate it. As far as the Commonwealth needs to stop tearing down the things that make Virginia great and made Virginia a great place to do business. Just a couple, as these gentlemen mentioned, is a continual increasing of taxes. We're taxing people right out of Virginia because it's not a viable option for them to have be in the bottom line, being in black. If one of your biggest considerations is how much taxes are going to increase once after I've made a commitment to come into a community, and in this case, a state, that's why we see Virginia not being as viable as it once was. And currently, we're ranked among the bottom 10 states to recover from the pandemic, so it's definitely an issue. Another one is ending the right to work. I mean, there's so many issues that we can cover at a state level, but tonight I want to concentrate on what we can do here locally. 2 things. One is we need to let businesses know that when we market to them to entice them to come to Louisa County, and like these gentlemen said, and it's just echoing, but God has blessed us with the perfect location for businesses, being in the triangularly located between Richmond, Charlottesville, and Fredericksburg, and just maybe now 90 miles short south of DC. We won't talk about the time range, but for travel, but it's the truth. Secondly, and most importantly for any business, more especially a new business, is we need to make any interaction with a county office as quick and as easy and as seamless as possible. They're there or coming to the county for help, for guidance, and we don't need to complicate, we need to give solutions. Thank you.
And I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone for being here on this rainy night and listening to all of us yabber on. And I've been listening to my fellow counterparts up here, and I've been learning a lot, and what you have to say is very interesting. So I'd like to thank you all for your parts of your information. I think one of the single most things the Commonwealth needs to do is we need to make sure that we're not putting unfunded mandates on businesses and our communities and our counties. There's a lot of regulations coming out of the Commonwealth, and we need to make sure that they are funded and that we can move forward with those regulations. We need to promise businesses out of the Commonwealth that we're not going to increase their taxes. When we're moving forward into the county, I think many of you have already said that. We need to make sure that our workforce is trained, which we are doing with our CTE program here in the county, and that our students are coming forward and they'll have jobs readily available for them in the county. We need to support them, and we need to let businesses know that we won't overregulate them in Louisa County, and we will not raise their taxes. And I have to say, on something that Mr. Babiak had said, that in Louisa County, in Zions Crossroads, we don't have pharmacies. And I have to say, we have 2 fabulous pharmacies, and my son gets a lot of drugs, medications from them, so I know that. And I do all my banking in Zions Crossroads, so I really thank the county for opening up the doors and not letting us be a food desert up there and opening up those businesses, and we need to help those businesses thrive, and we need to encourage more businesses coming into our community. That will only benefit us.
All right, well, thank you so much. I want to thank you guys again for having me, and thank you so much to all the candidates for being here. I appreciate it. I know you guys all have questions as well, so I'll send it over now to Sarah.
Thank you again, Rachel. Thank you, candidates, for being here. I've known some of you since before I could vote, and I still learned a lot tonight, so thank you, and I hope everyone else learned a lot as well. I do want to say that we are going to have you all retire out to the gallery now, to the lobby, so that all of you can ask your individual questions, or if there's a candidate here that you have not yet met, that you can meet them personally. Also, we do have from Blakely Lockhart's campaign, unfortunately, she was unable to join us this evening last minute, but we do have Liam with her campaign here who will be out there as well. If you have any questions for the campaign for Ms. Lockhart, he'll be able to either answer or get your information to get you an answer for. We will also be, because it was a last minute change, we will be doing a Zoom with Ms. Lockhart to answer questions for her and then providing that out. So those of you who may have came to hear what she had to say, you'll still be able to get her answer. So thank you all, gentlemen, and Rachel. I'll have you all go out to the lobby, and thank you guys for being here.